So you see the PowerPoint, you see some of the upcoming slides to the left there. I'm just going to run it right from PowerPoint, easiest way to do it. And we're going to have kickoff within the first 10 minutes. Thanks to all my predecessors on this, Joe and Brian and Francisco and Sarah, who's not with us here this morning, but thanks to all the predecessors for evolving the PowerPoint to the place where it is today so that we can run these convergences in a fairly timely manner. Thank you all for that. Okay, so we're going to do kickoff for about, take that up to 10 minutes in. We're going to look at some of the projects that are ongoing very briefly, just a couple of sentences about where they are in the process and what they're doing, and then what they've got coming up next, and if they need any particular resources, need people or whatever. Then project proposals, because the way that NFM works is that people propose a project, have an idea, and propose a project around that, and that gets voted on, and it has to reach a particular threshold of votes, number of votes, and a particular threshold of positive votes, of yeses, in order for it to become an actual project in NFM. And then it starts accumulating members and moving on around our circle, which is in the upper left-hand corner there. The 8 C's, that represents the 8 C's of our projects. Then we'll do a little Q&A as needed at the end, and then we'll close up. So any questions so far about where we're headed, what we're doing? Okay. At any time, you can raise your hand. There's also be the chat will be open, and Francisco's in the background also monitoring to see if any hand raises and that kind of thing, so that we can keep moving. Okay. So first thing that we do on our network convergence is kind of shout outs. They can be kudos. It can be just hello. I'm wondering if people who are new to this, it's your first network convergence, or you're new to NFM, or you feel like you're a newbie or a neophyte, would you raise your hand down at the bottom? You just choose hand raise. Okay, well, raising your physical hand is a good one too. Okay. And then raising your virtual hand is great. Okay. So, just so that we acknowledge you, thank you for joining us with NFM. Really appreciate that. Okay, you can put your hands down now, class. Thank you very much. Those who are repeat attendees, folks who threw off their training wheels and are starting to ride the bicycle known as NFM. How many of those folks raise your virtual hand? Pop, 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 pop. Cool. Or your physical hand. Thank you, Nat. All right. Thanks, Kat. I appreciate it. Okay, so we've got a good mixture today of people who have been around NFM for a little bit, and other people who are coming into it, that we know that we're nurturing and trying to find places where you can feel at home and productive. And so we'll be working on that with you individually and as a group. Who are our project catalysts? You know who you are if you're a project catalyst. Raise your pop. We got popcorn going. All right. All right. Those are the people who are leading the various projects. Those are the people who came up with the idea, put it up for a vote. It got voted in, approved, and now it's actually a project. So those people are known as catalysts, and we've got several of those on the call today. And I want to leave it open. Does anyone, if you want to unmute or whatever, and you want to acknowledge one of the other people, either on the call today or not on the call, and just kind of, because it is being recorded, just throw out a kudo to anyone who's helped you in any particular way or who's inspired you in any way?
I wanted to start actually with a shout out. Sorry, we have so many hands raised. So, yeah, just wanted to give a shout out to Curtis because he's been doing an amazing work with the amazing job with the synthetic ONA project. And yeah, it's pity. I wish I had, some time to attend like all the initiatives, but I've been following asynchronously. And, there are like amazing dashboards and visualizations and resources for ONA practitioners. So yeah, kudos to Curtis. And
Oh, thank
please,
you,
Curtis,
man.
if you want to choose now, maybe use
Oh
somebody
no, I'll
to
just
shout
do
out
my
with.
my shout out. I'll do the report out when we do the projects. But thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. And the other person, Nathan, congratulations on launching the Network First podcast. Super excited. We recorded a great episode together and cannot wait to see the outcome there. Yeah. So the two people I wanted to shout out today.
Thank you.
And my shout out would be for the person who was not here. That's for Sarah, just for general guidance and being an important steadying force throughout the proceedings.
I would like to say something. Also, I would like to acknowledge Larry, actually. So thank you, Larry, very much for hosting this and for becoming so participative. I noticed there is a transformation from more observant to very participative. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Katharina. Anyone else want to toss out a kudo?
Larry, I'd throw out kudo for Zani Storha. Zani isn't catalyzing a project right now, but you might think she was because she's involved in so many different projects and giving us her perspective on things. And like some of us, she also is regularly struggling to overcome various kinds of time zone and infrastructure issues with IT issues and things of that nature due to connectivity. But she always sort of somehow finds a way by phone or one way or another to connect with us. So a lot of kudos to her for kind of going above and beyond in order to be part of the discussion.
Great.
Agree. Larry, sorry, I missed one more. It's important. I wanted to thank especially to Marcela from Odilon Santos, who's joining today, because she's being a critical contributor to the Network First pilot project and putting a company of about 2,000 employees in Brazil all along at the disposal to help us experiment and pilot these methodologies takes a lot of courage and a lot of vision. So thank you, Marcela, and to the rest of the Odilon team. Like super excited about walking this path with you together.
Very good. Indeed. As we move into this phase of testing out the principles of NFM and the pilot organizations who are helping us do that, and hopefully they're reaping the rewards of that at some point. But thank them. You're right for the courage and commitment to doing that with us. Very much so. We appreciate that.
And Larry, this is Jaya. I wanted to give a shout out to Ivana Petreska. She always is such a team player, challenges us with good questions, and I truly appreciate that. And then also to Zani to challenge and also to ask all the questions that maybe it's on other people's mind, but people are just not posting it out there. So I really appreciate both of them with all their questions and also moving the project to the next level. So thank you, Vanna. Thank you, Zani.
Thanks, Jaya. And let me welcome some of the people who were able to come in and join us. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. And as you can hear, one of the, principles of NFM, named or not, is nurturing, network nurturing. Not just keeping the network flowing, but individually, people gravitate to this organization, and we like to acknowledge and support each other. Part of coming to NFM is just in being with a bunch of really smart, dedicated, motivated people working on projects, and just being with them is a real joy and a good outcome. And then the other part is doing, actually creating the methodology and testing it out and doing all those things. So appreciate both of that, and that's when we want to acknowledge each other. Okay, so for announcements, we are going to be having the Network First Annual Convergence. That's going to be in person for those who can make it. There will also be a virtual version of that. However, simultaneously or live from San Francisco Bay Area on the 13th of August, which is a significant date. It was the start date last year of NFM. And so we're celebrating that on the 13th of August in 2026. In the Bay Area, specific location to be announced, but so you can start putting that on your calendar and make your travel plans. You can do that. And then the next network guiding, which is for people who are new to the organization, new to NFM, or want to just come and ask some questions or that kind of thing. Questions about using Slack or how we connect with each other or how to put a proposal up, those kinds of things. We have a network guiding monthly meeting, and that'll be coming up. And that's going to be announced at the end as well. But we have them each month, and we have another one coming up in July, of course. We've had June's. Okay, so any questions about any of the stuff up here so far? Anyone? Okay, all right, thank you. Project snapshots. Okay, so this is the part where we have some of the catalysts talk very briefly about their projects, kind of where they are. Hopefully they can reference the 8C diagram. That would be fun. But talk about their projects, where they've been, where they're going, what the next step is going to be for them, and maybe if they need some folks, they can put out a call for that. So we'll start off with, in no particular order except what's on the screen. We'll start with Francisco.
Thanks, Larry. I actually, because I know that Miguel has a conflict at 8:30, I wanted to, Miguel is going to provide the update of one of the projects I'm catalyzing, the Network First Company pilot. So, Miguel, you want to start with that update? I think we cannot hear you. You're muted. Nope. No, it's sincere muted for some reason.
Let me see.
Now we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm glad that we have Marcela here also. So small pilot with 8 person from the HR team from the group of Odilon, and it's interesting because they already are working in an uncentralized, decentralized structure. From I think Marcel could correct me that 3 years from now, already they have that implemented. So we started with the pilot here with 8 folks from HR and also a network ONA, active ONA with 100 persons from people from the company to see if there's a change on the collaboration, if this decentralized way of working it's actually functioning well, if there are some silos. So we'll be checking that. The survey had been launched last week. So we have a few responses. 2 weeks now with some other resources on the results of the pilot here.
Thank you, Miguel. Marcela, do you want to complement that in any way?
Oh, exactly. We launched the research, and I think we'll be ahead of the the answers maybe this week or next week. I'm not sure yet, but people are already answering, so we're very excited to see the results.
Yeah, to provide some context, basically the initial step was to launch an active ONA survey where we surveyed basically a group of about 120 people, I think it was, right? Mapping interactions like sharing information, technical support, personal support, and inspiration. And now this week, we're going to launch the decentralized voting tool with a squad of 8 people, along with the Slack workspace. And the idea is basically to pilot the full network first methodology first with this squad. And if the results are optimal, start expanding within the company step by step. Yeah, and I want to reiterate, thank you, Marcela and Miguel and the Odilon team for your trust in piloting this. I know it's not easy to to pilot an emerging methodology, but we're super excited to walk this path with you. And also we're piloting the methodology within Cognitive Talent Solutions as well. So far, a total of 8 proposals have been submitted. We are running active ONA at the moment, and passive ONA through Slack metadata, and we're already seeing some of the impact on our operations in terms of specific initiatives to open markets like LATAM, or for example, to create certain features like individual reports, or to explore certain use cases like talent development in a way that different team members can collaborate with each other. Whereas before, these type of initiatives maybe would have only 1 or 2 people involved. So yeah, so far the results are being pretty positive, but we are still at an early stage. And with regards to the other projects, I think the events has already been covered by Larry, so I will provide just quickly an update on the Codex. As you might remember from previous convergences or communication Slack, basically, as part of the project Network First Codex, we're creating this foundational document where we're reflecting the different elements of the Network First methodology, areas like workplace design, the AC framework, organizational network analysis, e-commons, poetics, semiotics, etc. And right now we're in the process of gathering applications to sign the Codex. The goal here basically is to relinquish the IP by those people that actively contributed to the creation of the methodology, so that we can create an open foundation where we can now step by step commercialize different initiatives and empower anybody that wants to adopt Network First or create their own version of Network First or create an initiative related to Network First in a way that they don't have to be concerned about IP implications. So I'm going to share a link on the chat in case that anybody wants to basically look at it. You can see the current version of the Codex, and you can there basically just submit the application, and then basically when we gather enough signatories, we'll send a DocuSign version, and the final version of the Codex will be presented at the August 13 Network First Annual Summit. I'll pause it there. Happy to answer any questions, and we can go to the other project updates.
Okay, thank you, Francisco. As you can hear, some of the new folks here, things get done in projects. The outcomes of projects are the Codex. Even the events that we plan are done as a project. So that's how NFM operates and works. That's how you get involved with us. Sarah can't be here with us today. She is the catalyst for Poetics. However, she did send along a recording just as an update, and I'm hoping I can get it to play for you all. In testing, this worked okay, and I want to open it, and I want to bring it up here. So can you see? Can you see that?
Yes.
And hear her? Okay, very good. Thank you. Here you go. Here's Sarah.
We cannot hear it, Larry.
No sound.
Need to be working, Larry. Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Okay, that's not working real well, so I'm going to put it there. She was regrettably she couldn't make it today, but she actually had a poem to share with us. I'll post this video into the events so that other people can take a look at that as well. She was just updating us. Poetics went through its first phase. It worked helps define the words that we use, which we recognize are important. And so it helps define those. We work in a committee and on a project, and we did some definition. And we're now in a second phase where we're further defining that and having some creativity come out. People writing poetry and other forms of words to help express the ideas behind NFM. Dan, if you would let us know about your project on NFM consulting.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So we're doing a bit of a switch. So far, we've met a couple of times here and had some great success kind of with what we're kind of doing with Network First Consulting. But the last couple sessions, we've talked about shifting a little bit of the focus. And so after this meeting, I'm going to be kind of changing up some of it a little bit. And we're going to shift a little bit more toward just looking at O&A use cases that the fellow kind of consultants here can leverage for their own kind of commercial activity. This is kind of a passion switch for me, just because my own business is kind of focusing on how to kind of work with O&A and larger clients. And so while we made some great progress with kind of looking and thinking through methodologies that overall Network First can make for consultants, the new push is going to kind of be shifting a bit toward collecting and then finalizing some use cases that we can use for O&A and then commercialize those for anyone that's kind of a member.
Great, thank you, Dan. Yeah, so if you're a consultant and you're interested, how do you implement the concepts of NFM? That's the project with other folks, other members that Dan's working on. And if you want to have a voice in that, talk to Dan and see if you can become part of that team. Yeah. Joe, can you tell us a little bit about eCommons, please?
Certainly. A little bit about eCommons. So the purpose of this project is to explore how projects could be monetized in a decentralized framework, such as we have in Network First. So the great thing about that discussion, in my mind, in addition to the stated objective of establishing some guardrails for monetization, we have these other topics that are terrific byproducts to that discussion. So one of them now is about how to introduce an NFM marketplace, as well as a certification for monetized projects for Network First or any decentralized framework. We certainly our next confab, as I call them, will be tomorrow. It occurs every Tuesday at 11 o'clock, or I'm sorry, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And the more the merrier for that discussion. Do join. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Joe. Yeah, I had heard of the term confab several years ago and was using it myself. And so I've adopted it for my projects as well. Thank you very much for that, reminding me of that. Jaya, ONA, Organizational Network Analysis. Want to tell us about your project on that? Are you unmuted? Are you on?
Sorry, I was having trouble.
Okay,
Sorry,
you're live now. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Sorry, guys. So we are so project ONA actually is led by Francisco, the active ONA piece, and myself, the passive ONA piece. So I'll speak on the passive ONA piece. Basically, it's to show how work is being done in any organization. And for us, we focus here on NFM. And so we've actually reported the first data, aggregate level data previously in one of the convergence. And we are looking to do the next one in probably the next following one. I'm not sure when we will share that, but that's the intention as a team we decided the last time. And it's a great project. And if you want to learn more about how work is being done in your organization, this is definitely a project to be involved in. Now, also, before I forget, I also want to make a call out at the same time to Johann Mayberger. He has added a lot of value to our project, and also how we look at things overall with regard to how work is being done. I completely forgot earlier, but for me, at least, I would say that he opened my eyes as an HR leader as well as an HR professional, as to see what are the different things you can look at, using using passive ONA. So I truly am very appreciative of it, because it's definitely given me a different perspective. And also I feel that this project will help a lot of people who actually join the project and participate, see different things and how they can make an organization even more effective, and how the NFM strategy actually works or does not work, or how you can totally leverage it, and so on. So that's my piece, and I'll stop right there. So thank you, Johan, as well as Ivana and Zani, for all the support in this project.
Okay, thank you. Did you want to address the active ONA part, Francisco?
Yeah. Thanks, Jaya, for covering the passive ONA component. On the active ONA side, just want to mention, you might remember that we launched an active ONA survey a few months ago. And actually, we're planning to launch a second active ONA exercise to see how the network of the community has evolved throughout these months. So please expect towards the end of this week to receive a survey in your email. We'll also create a unique link where anybody can self-identify. So we have a centralized link for this. But yeah, if anybody has any issue receiving the survey, sometimes it might end up on the spam folder. So please double check that. But yeah, looking forward to seeing this second exercise and integrating also into the codex to reflect the two moments of the community with regards to active ONA. And yeah, shout out to Johan, because he's been carrying the passive ONA component on Slack on his shoulders throughout the entire time.
Terrific, thank you. And for those who possibly are not familiar with organizational network analysis, as I was not deeply embedded in that culture when I first joined this 6-7 months ago, the organizational network analysis, if we're going to focus and emphasize the network, then that gives us a tool to be able to map the network and look at the various channels of communication and such, and collaboration and cooperation within that network. So these ONA projects are really important. And that segues into Curtis, and you want to talk to us a little bit about synthetic ONA and how that's going for you?
Yep. Thank you, Larry. Jaya, I'm sorry we never talk because there's such overlap between our two projects. I'm sure we'll connect. This is what this is for, convergence. We're converging. So our project is similar to what you just heard, but ours is focused on solving a kind of particular problem in the ONA community, which is the data problem. You can't take any existing sort of private data sets and put them in the public domain. Obviously, it would be very, very bad. And ONA is not an easy thing to learn. If anyone has stepped their foot into those waters, you get into some technicalities very quickly. So I'll use the metaphor this time of a swimming pool. Synthetic ONA is a public swimming pool we're building, where it's got a graduated kind of like way you can come in the kiddie pool side and splash around a little bit and learn a little of organizational network analysis terminology. You do this in a safe environment with synthetic data. So, actual sort of nodes and edges mapped, but in a way that has some correspondence to the real world. And if you want to go all the way to the deep end of the pool, we have built an Olympic-sized swimming pool. You can go deep. There's even a high diving board. You can dive right in. All right. So it's our public swimming pool of learning ONA and testing your hypotheses. All of this work, guys, is all about like changing organizations, transformation, culture, etc. And it all happens through, hey, I wonder if, and you have some crazy hypothesis for organizational intervention. And that is a cool thing to do if you have a public data set and you have a way to test your crazy ideas within our tools. Come swim in the pool, guys. Come check it out. Larry, I'm gonna do a bonus round for you. 8 C's. Here's where we are. We called, we converged, we catalyzed, we cohered. We are now in the crafting and condensing phase. How about that, my friend? And here's what we need for our condensing. We have built a lot, as Francisco hat tipped earlier. We have already built apps. We have built visualization tools, and we have our public data sets now. What we need, guys, are beta testers. We need swimmers. We need you to come in and swim in the pool with us. All right. So I want to give a shout out right now to Donna Jones, one of our best beta testers. Thank you, Donna. You've been fantastic. I want to also thank Alan Hoffminer. Am I saying his last name correctly? He and Donna have been our kind of sounding boards. We need more. So now that we're really beginning to converge and crystallize what this is, and we're about to push it all to a public GitHub repository, that's our gift to the world, and the swimming pool goes live and everyone can come in and swim. Okay, so we need more testers. So guys, if you want to work with us, look for our Slack channel, Synthetic Ona. And of course, Sylvia Farasco. I would be remiss not to mention Sylvia, who was really a co-founder of this with me, and she wrote the algorithms that generated the public data set. So Sylvia is a founding member of our group, and Johan has been super helpful as well. And thanks to everyone. So that's us. Come swim with us.
Thank you, Curtis.
All
And
right.
South Central Texas here, it's getting time to hit the pool for sure.
Yes.
So thank you for that refreshing idea. Okay, Katarina, the Forge, which is a combination of things that have recently come together. Want to talk to us about that a little?
Yeah, so our project is a combination of Francisco's previous project about symbology and my atelier project. So we merged these two ideas because we thought that they're quite overlapping. So what we are doing is exploring how can we visualize network first and in a way of different symbols and products, and then provide these products to the community. So we are currently working on the first product that we can bring to actually on-site events that we are planning this summer. So that will be a surprise. We don't have it defined yet. So if you would like to define it with us, yeah, please do so and join our project.
Well, very much looking forward to that. And
Yeah.
so thank you very much for that. And combining those things about, again, we were talking about the words in poetics, and in semiotics, we were talking about the symbols that we use and how important those are and what they communicate. And now combining that with the effort to create actual physical representations of those and iterate those through the organization. It's terrific. So thank you for all your work on that. I'm going to wrap up with a couple of new projects that I am catalyzing, I guess is the right word for that. Knowing and learning, and then the other one is organizational culture. The first one, knowing and learning, is, and I have background in both of these areas. Knowing and learning is about where is all of the stuff that we're creating, all of the things that we're generating, and how does it become discoverable? How do we go and search it? How do we use it better? So that's the knowing part. It's kind of like a knowledge management, content knowledge management effort. How do we define that and do that? And associated with that is how do we curate it together and make it into some kind of a learning activity, learning event, to take some of that material and then be able to communicate it. So Curtis is very much like what you're doing with the synthetic ONA and the swimming pool and the shallow end to the deep end, and doing some of that training. That fits really nicely under that learning rubric. The other one is around organizational culture, and culture means lots of things to lots of different people. So one of the things that we're going to do initially is decide on when we use the word culture in NFM, what is it that we mean? And then can we reflect that? Can we measure it in some way and reflect that back to the organization? So those are some of the tasks there. I am in search of someone for each of these, could be the same person, but someone for each of these who is really organized, really likes and has experience in doing things like project management. Because while I have experience in that, it's not my forte. And so I would very much like to have someone join the project who would like to participate in that way, help us get organized along those lines. So if anybody's interested in that, there's a direct message, if you don't know, in Slack, there's a direct message capability, so you can directly message me, or you can message me in either of the two channels for knowing and learning or organizational culture. Okay, so we're over time on this, so but I knew that with the project proposals coming up, that those could be fairly concise. They've already been referenced, and so I'm hoping that Francisco, you can talk about this and then how people will be able to weigh in on these project proposals, vote on them when they're up.
Sounds good. Larry, may I propose one thing? Because we covered earlier on in the presentation, like a section to see who was joining the organization, the community for the first time, right? But one of the challenges that we faced over the last convergences was how do we balance the spotlight between people that have been around for a long time and people that are just joining and are trying to get engaged. Like, will it be possible to spend like at least 5 minutes? You know, I would love to see from some of the new members if they could share like what attracted them to the community and what resonated with them. And I would then be more than happy to share the proposals. And if it's not enough time to share the proposal, I'm happy to just share the links on the chat. But I really, I would love to hear from either, Kairun or, Michal or Scott, some of the people that have been there a little bit in the background, hear a little bit, what attracted them to the community and since they are here and what we can do to engage them in a more active manner. Would that work for you?
I think that's great. Yeah, please. So anyone, earlier we had you raise your hand as a neophyte. Can we go through that exercise again and raise your virtual hand if you're new to this, first time that you've been to Network Convergence? Yeah. I heard 5 popcorns. Anyone else? Okay, very good. So that what Francisco was just requesting was directed to you guys. 6. Anyone who would like to, okay, you can put your hands down now. Thank you. Anyone who would like to just unmute yourself and let us know a little bit about maybe where you're calling from or joining us from, and then so what drew you to NFM?
I'm happy to share because I'm going to have to jump off soon. So I met Francisco quite some time ago, but I've been in a lot of transition. I have it on my calendar every month, every time, looking at the Slack, just haven't been able to get here. Finally, yay, after months. My PhD research is in how we humanize one another, and I work in human-centered leadership in tech world. That's my nuances. And so I'm very interested in what you're talking about, Deacon Larry, around culture, because that's a lot of what's happening in our world right now with tech, is that the culture is being transformed and or lost and or who knows, right? So it's a thing that I'm very curious about and part of what I want to support, especially because I've watched it myself over the last 20 years, go from a kid that was, I'm going to be 60 this year, and I grew up in the streets with no computer or phone. And so I'm really curious about how is that shifting our culture, that everything is becoming more, less face-to-face. And that's the other thing I love about this was that there was face-to-face elements. So that's kind of why I'm here. And I'm really excited to finally connect. And you're probably going to be hearing from me, Deacon Larry. So
I look forward to it. Yeah. So make sure that you're identified in that channel. And I'm starting with the first calls in the 10-week series, the 17th and 18th. So next week is when we're starting our calls, not this week, Wednesday and Thursday, but next week is when we're going to begin our calls. So you got some time to ramp into it. So make yourself known to me in some way, and I'll make sure that you get into the channel on that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I won't be able to make that. I'm about ready to go paddle the rim of Tahoe for my birthday. So I'm taking my 60th to go paddle the whole rim of Lake Tahoe. So I'm taking 2 weeks. So I'll probably surface back up in August.
Cool.
Or mid-July. So,
July.
all right. Thank you all. Thanks for
All
calling
right.
us out.
Thank you. Anyone else who has recently joined us want to share your quick story?
Hi, yeah, I can do that. I'm Kimberly Eason. I am based in Washington, D.C. I'm actually a friend of Sarah's. What I'm working on is elevating the issue and the needs of women who farm in the global coffee and cocoa sectors. And I'm really keen to find a way. There's, tons of people across the US and around the world also that are not farmers and that are interested in how to connect. And so just really looking at, how to apply the Network First Manifesto and the methodology, with the people that we work with, and try to help really further further the connectivity and the inspiration and the catalyzing sort of new ways of working and thinking and being together across these global industries.
That's fantastic. And it occurs to me, and maybe in the discussion around culture, we might get into this a little bit, but from an historical standpoint, prior to the Industrial Revolution and the things that were leading up to that, there weren't a lot of real large hierarchical organizations. And now it's everything and almost every way of doing business. Before that was things like farming and things like apprenticeships and mastering programs and skills. So it'd be interesting to see how NFM fits in instituting the kinds of ways of doing business and bartering, those kinds of things that were common in farming practices. And if they still play today, that'll be quite interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, we work with a lot of farmer cooperatives, and so there, of course, are hierarchies there, and it'd be interesting to see also how to connect and potentially to see how those could evolve as well. Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun. Thank you. Would anyone else like to chime in?
Hi, Deacon. I can share really quickly. First, let me say hello again to everyone. This is my first meeting. My name is Ian Watts, and I was invited by NAT. I am working to solve the $10 trillion worldwide engagement crisis. So I have a unique human-centered approach that I'm working on to help with engagement, performance, and retention. And I heard that this was a community of like-minded people who are supportive, who are really bright, doing some cool things to impact the world. And I said, well, I would love to learn a little bit, to peek my head in and learn a little bit more about what's going on, to see if I could add value in some way.
That's terrific. Thank you. And by the way, most of us are open to having kind of one-on-one conversations with you. We have the network guiding monthly calls, and we've got a network guiding in the Slack channel and all of that. But we're also open to having one-on-one calls with folks like yourself, Ian, who would like to maybe explore some of that. I know Francisco's open to it. I am. I think Brian, Joe, some of the other folks are open to that. So we'd be happy to chat with you. It sounds like some really interesting work that you're doing, and it'd be interesting to see how that fits in with NFM.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Mikal, I think you were going to say something. You unmuted.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Michal, and I'm an organizational psychologist working with network thinking, O&A, for more than 20 years, I think now. I founded a startup company a while ago. That's where Francisco and I our paths crossed, where my startup company was about using O&A to change the network bottom up, from a me, we perspective, reflecting the me and the we between personal networks and organizational networks. I continue my calling. That's how I feel. For many years, I feel networks call me. So when Francisco wrote me about this community, there was no doubt in my mind that I would love to join it. And today, I'm the founder of the Alchemy of Intelligences, looking at how artificial intelligence as a node coming into the network, reshaping interactions, and creating new opportunities for us to thrive as humans. And that's me. And thank you for this meeting. Thank you for thank you for this manifesto. I feel privileged being here, and I appreciate this opportunity.
And I'm going to continue to try to get your name pronounced exactly the way that you want it, Michal, because
That's okay.
as the daughter of Saul and David's first wife, that I think you bring a lot to us. So thank you very much for that, and thank you for your experience and desire and wanting to work and integrate some of your work with NFM. I'm really looking forward to having you as part of the projects that I'm working on for sure. So thank you very much for joining. Anyone else want to shout out here before we have Francisco tell us about his proposals real quickly and how to vote on them?
I think I'm the last one on the fifth popcorn, Larry. Nice to meet you, everyone, newbies as well as repeat attendees. My name's Kairoon. You can call me Kai. I actually found out about this group very randomly in a burnout webinar during Toronto Tech Week. Someone posted it in the community because we were kind of talking about what burnout looks like, especially in the world of tech, and what kind of efforts and projects there are to help, let's say, solve that, yeah, if that's such a thing is even possible. But a little bit about me. I'm originally born in Japan. I was raised in Toronto, and then I moved to Berlin to do my master's in social psychology, and then I have a background in consulting. I'm actually now living in Tokyo. I moved back from Berlin. My partner and I are there, and I'm working in a freelance capacity, both as a coach, mentor, podcast host on my own podcast as well. And I help early stage startups as well as in a B2B, B2C space, especially with tech employees, everything regards to well-being, mental health, burnout. So, and especially in the world of AI, right, where there's a lot of conversations about AI. And I've noticed that there's kind of this polarization happening of sorts, where there's one side that's all for AI and another side that's kind of a little bit skeptical about it. And then I'm trying to get right in the middle of that and then understand at the end of the day, AI and tools such as AI, right? It is dependent on how we use it. And when I saw about the Network First Manifesto and trying to understand, yeah, that we can kind of get right in the middle of that, and then using things such as data appropriately, right? And then rather than being consumed by it, it seemed like a great place. And now that I see these projects, then I can be a part of it. Also seems like a very cool initiative to be part of something grassroots. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us and bringing that experience. And I'm looking forward to having discussions with you, either in culture or knowing and learning, and about NFM trying to. It's a bigger approach. It's a fundamental approach about redefining what the future of work looks like to counter things like burnout and stress and unengagement and all of those things in the workplace, and just for me just total lack of dignity found in the workplace, and trying to establish a large model, not LLM, but a large model to be able to try to do things from the beginning, from the foundation, to address those things. So we're not trying to treat them, but we're trying to encounter those and keep those from happening. So thank you. I'm looking forward to some discussions with you about that. So any more popcorn today? Anyone else? Okay. So Francisco, again, please review your proposals and let people know how to vote on them.
Yeah, thank you to all the new people that introduced themselves and for joining the community. I think it's important that we have a right balance between, project catalyst and people that have been around for a long time, people that are just joining because, we need to keep this as active as possible. So the two proposals that I've submitted are the Network First certification and the Network First marketplace. Basically, the context here is, in the community, we were working for a variety for a number of months, and then at some point, some of these initiatives were starting to reach the level of maturity where they were about to get monetized, right? And that's the context basically in which the e-commons project with Joe appear. We're discussing different monetization strategies. The Codex project was submitted as well and ratified to create that open foundation we're talking about to mitigate any IP concerns. And these are kind of like the two examples of two of the first initiatives that could get commercialized once the Codex is in place and is fully executed. So I want to clarify, first of all, that none of these initiatives is going to be like materialize or become active on the community, even if they get ratified until the Codex is not signed, at least the first version. And I'm putting again there the link to submit application for the Codex. So now the Network First certification. The goal here basically is to collaborate with the learning and culture projects to create a certification path for people that want to be enabled to deliver the Network First methodology to organizations out there, right? So there are right now different elements within the Network First methodology, like the AC framework, semiotics, poetics, Network First workplace, active and passive organizational network analysis. And if there is anybody out there that would like to say, well, actually, I would like to become an expert in this methodology and I would like to help other organizations implement it, I think that could be a good tool to kind of like enable people to develop those skills. And set kind of like a standard, right? On how this methodology can be implemented. Again, like the idea here is not to have any centralized or monopolized setup of how to implement Network First, but the opposite, right? I mean, if this can be the first of many certifications and courses that can help people learn about the Network First methodology, I think that's the approach here. And then and I look forward to working with Larry and the knowledge and learning project to kind of like disseminate these certifications once it's ready and to work on it together. The second one is the Network First marketplace. This is an idea that we started discussing in the e-commons project. So the question here is because the reality is that there is a demand from the community of, how can we explore if the Network First approach is compatible with monetization? Because at the end of the day, all of us are living in the real world, right? We have to either work on a 9-to-5 job or have our own company and fight out there, right? And many of us is volunteering on these type of projects, right? But if we could somehow, again, provide tools and resources for people to get, even if it's on a part-time basis, on remuneration out of this, whether you're working on a project that gets monetized or not, I think that would be a good place. So the idea of the marketplace is the following. And again, this is something that can be completely iterated down the road, but imagine that a project catalyst works on a project and that project is a book, let's put it for the purpose, or a software or a tool or a service, anything, right? Let's put a book, for example. The book could be commercialized outside the community. You can go to Amazon, you can go to any other portal, or you would be able to post it within an internal marketplace. And in this marketplace, basically, that will have a lot of visibility to people in the community and to people that are learning about Network First outside the community. If anybody buys that book, let's say, for example, for $10, a part, let's say, for example, 2/3 of those funds would go to the Project Catalyst, and 1/3, or the amount that we agree, would go to a common pool powered by blockchain, which is not really managed by anybody, but we can see that it works. And that pool, basically, on these type of convergences that we have on a monthly basis, we could run a quick organizational network analysis poll, or survey, and then like the technology would redistribute that 1/3 common pool among the 2/3 of people that get the most votes from the survey. So it's kind of like an experiment to find a way to provide monetization opportunities for people that are creating value to the community, whether they're monetizing or they're not monetizing projects, incentive for Project Catalyst to create products that can make a real impact out there, you know, and provide tangible. And the idea here, again, like once we have the open foundation with the Codex, hopefully this can enable the creation of courses, certifications, technology, you know, all different types of initiatives that can bring the network first movement to the next level. And again, as I said, the goal here is not at all to kind of like create a single point where these monetization opportunities can happen, but hopefully to be the first of many that can provide different alternatives and value to the community. And the goal for this to co-create this together. Also, I wanted to point, like, because I know that it's a sensitive topic, right? Even if the marketplace initiative gets ratified and we try it for 1, 2, 3 months, and somehow, you know, I think it would be important to kind of like run a poll within the community and see whether this is something that we want to continue using or not. So if for whatever reason this marketplace doesn't bring the right type of incentives or is moving, the community feels that it's not moving the whole movement in that direction that is appropriate, we can always just kill it and just go back to the drawing board and create something from scratch. Yeah, so that's an overview of the 2 initiatives. And I put in here the link so you can vote for the proposals. As always, if anybody somehow cannot vote, just ping me personally. I'll make sure that you're added to the database. Sometimes like people that join, if they join after the proposal is submitted, they won't be able to vote until the next wave. But, you know, I'll try to do myself to fix it in the background.
Okay, so you have the in the chat, you have where you can go to vote on proposals. And again, it needs a minimum of 25 participants, whether you say yay, nay, or abstain. So please go review the proposal and express your opinion about it. Really appreciate that. Okay, so the next thing on here was Q&A. We had 10 minutes scheduled for it. Obviously, we don't have that. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them into the chat. We'll leave that open for a bit. And in closing, again, we have the network guiding. The next event is going to be a virtual event. It's going to be on the 7th of July. At 10 a.m. Central Time, Central U.S. Time. So we'd be happy to host you there and see and have a little bit more conversation about getting you more involved. Then again, remember to mark your calendars for the NFM Convergence on 13th of August in the Bay Area, and more information will be coming on that. We're wrapping up here, and I'm also going to try to run Sarah's video again. And if that works, then there's an option I see in Zoom to be able to play the computer's audio. So that may work. And in closing, if anyone wants to stick around and watch Sarah for, I think it's like a 3-minute thing, please feel free to stick around for a few minutes. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining us, and have a great month. We'll see you again in Network Convergence in July.
Yep. Great meeting, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad to be with the cracks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, you're playing the video. Okay, I'll stick around for the video.
Thank you all.
Yeah, Larry doesn't seem to be working, but I have to jump to another meeting where I have to use this. Oh, let's see.
I am sad not to be joining you at the Convergence this week, but I thought I would give you an update from one little corner of our network on a project that several members of our community contributed to over the past couple of weeks, which was an experiment in collective poetry writing. And I want to first just thank all the folks who submitted their own original poetry as part of this effort, because sharing one's writing, and I think especially poetry, can be a particularly vulnerable act. And I think it's really beautiful, the willingness of folks to participate in this experiment speaks to what we have created here and the trust that's building in our relationships and the kinds of collaboration that are uniquely possible when human connection is centered in our ways of working. Something like a collaborative poem becomes possible. So the experiment was to write a network-first poem, first by submitting individual poems to me, and then for me to take on the task of synthesizing those individual poems into a collective poem and capturing the themes and energy and creativity of all who participated. So without further ado, here is that poem. Threshold. In the hour before light, the dreamer of the world, which was always a door, opens, entering water as a ghost enters the body, as roots encounter each other beneath what we call ground. Thirst meets source. Dreams ripen under a nocturnal sun, nurtured as a mother tends the almost born. Dreamer of many eyes, dreamer of infinite forms, mirror of inversion in which light transforms. Blue flame that burns but does not devour. A firebird ascends the eastern sky, answering the call to Omega, where we converged before we awoke.
Once again, thank everybody.
Good.
Thank you all for joining, and look forward to
Thanks
seeing
so
you in our
much.
individual meetings.
I love that we ended it on a poem. So nice.
Perfect. Thank you guys for joining. We'll share the recording on YouTube later. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone.